One of the most persistent myths in sports discourse is the idea that Michael Jordan didn't play against other greats during his NBA career, a claim that lacks historical accuracy and fails to consider the true level of competition Jordan faced during his prime and even his early years in the league. This myth often surfaces in debates comparing Jordan to modern players like LeBron James or Kobe Bryant, with detractors claiming that Jordan had an easier path to success because the league allegedly lacked elite talent or depth during his era. However, this narrative collapses when subjected to any serious scrutiny. Jordan entered the NBA in 1984, a time when the league was filled with legendary players, Hall of Famers, and some of the most physically demanding teams in basketball history. So we are going to continue this NBA myth series with one narrative that has to be put to bed when discussing the GOAT himself. And sit back and relax and let me prove this is nothing more than a crazy myth created to tear down one of the greatest careers in NBA history. But first, if you enjoy NBA breakdowns and analysis, please subscribe to the channel. We are working for that 2,000 sub mark and can't do it without you guys. Also, check out the GOATcast podcast, streaming live every week with guests and some wild takes. Thank you, and now let's get into this. The idea that Michael Jordan didn't face other great players during his career collapses under even minimal historical scrutiny. Over the course of his career, Jordan played against more than 30 Hall of Famers, including some of the most iconic players in NBA history. In the 1980s, he went toe-to-toe with Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Isaiah Thomas, Dominique Wilkins, Moses Malone, Kevin McHale, and Robert Parrish, all perennial All-Stars and multi-time champions or MVPs. When Jordan scored 63 points in a playoff game against the 1986 Celtics, considered one of the greatest teams ever, we talked about that in a video not too long ago, Bird himself said that was God disguised as Michael Jordan. Though the Bulls were swept, the performance came against a juggernaut team with many Hall of Famers. In the 1990s, the competition only ramped up. Jordan's Bulls repeatedly clashed with Patrick Ewing's Knicks, Reggie Miller's Pacers, and Shaquille O'Neal and Penny Hardaway's Orlando Magic. The Eastern Conference was stacked with tough, defensively oriented teams designed to stop Jordan, often unsuccessfully. In the NBA Finals, Jordan's opponents were even more decorated. In 1991, he faced Magic Johnson and the Lakers, a championship-proven team. In 92, he battled Clyde Drexler's Trailblazers, who were a consistent playoff threat. In 1993, it was Charles Barkley's Suns, the top team in the league and led by that season's MVP. In 96, he took down Gary Payton and Sean Kemp's Seattle Supersonics, and in 97 and 98, Jordan faced Karl Malone and John Stockton's Utah Jazz, the best duo in the West at the time. Malone had won the MVP in 97, but Jordan outdueled him and hit the series-clinching shot in 98. These were not easy opponents. They were elite teams with elite players, many of whom would be champions in any other era. A major part of what makes Jordan's competition so formidable isn't just who he played, but how he had to play. Jordan thrived in an era when defense was much more physical, and rules were designed to hinder offensive players, especially perimeter scorers. Hand checking was allowed, hard fouls were common, and there was no illegal defense called to punish teams for packing the paint. The Detroit Pistons, Jordan's most infamous early playoff nemesis, created the Jordan rules, a brutal, physically punishing system designed to hit Jordan every time he touched the ball. The Pistons, with Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, Bill Laimbeer, and Dennis Rodman, eliminated Jordan's Bulls 3 consecutive years, from 88 to 90, before he finally broke through in 91 by sweeping them. Despite the grueling defensive climate, Jordan dominated statistically. He led the league in scoring 10 times, won 5 MVPs, and holds the highest playoff scoring average of all time, 33.4 points per game. These numbers weren't achieved in a soft or shallow era. They came against elite defenders like Gary Payton, a Defensive Player of the Year, Sidney Moncrief, Joe Dumars, Dennis Johnson, and Ron Harper. Jordan didn't benefit from today's spacing or hand check bans. He faced double and triple teams regularly without the modern freedom of movement, yet still managed to lead the Bulls to 6 championships in 8 years. If the competition was weak or the rules favored him, more players would have matched or approached his level of dominance, but none did.
Charles, the other night we were talking, you guys are down 3-1, and you kept saying It's our destiny. It's our destiny.
I believe it is our destiny to win the world championship. I have believed that for the last year. And I believe in my heart that we're going to win the world championship. And I told you that. I don't care about being down 3-1. God wants us to win the world championship.
Another critical point that shatters the myth is how Jordan directly prevented many all-time greats from winning championships. In the Eastern Conference alone, legends like Patrick Ewing, Charles Barkley, Reggie Miller, Dominique Wilkins, and Chris Webber never won a ring in large part because they had to go through Jordan. In the West, Karl Malone and John Stockton, one of the most statistically accomplished duos ever, went 0-2 in the finals against Jordan's Bulls. Barkley, who won MVP in '93 and led the league's best regular season team in Phoenix, said it plainly. If it weren't for Jordan, I'd have a championship. Jordan's excellence was so overwhelming that entire franchises, despite having a Hall of Fame talent and elite rosters, couldn't get over the hump. Late in his career and during his second comeback with the Wizards, Jordan even faced the next wave of stars. Kobe Bryant, Allen Iverson, Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, Paul Pierce, and Tim Duncan, many of whom idolized him. Not Duncan though. Iverson famously crossed him up, but Jordan got the win. Young Kobe said Jordan was the toughest and smartest player he ever faced. Even the young Shaquille O'Neal had to deal with Jordan's Bulls in the 1996 playoffs after defeating them in '95. Jordan responded by improving his strength and conditioning, then leading the Bulls to a 72-10 record and a title. Jordan didn't just exist during a golden age of talent, he reigned over it. The fact that so many greats couldn't secure championships during Jordan's reign isn't evidence of their inferiority, but of his supremacy. Just as Bill Russell's dominance in the 1960s prevented legends like Jerry West and Elgin Baylor from winning more titles, Jordan served as the gatekeeper of greatness during his era. This isn't a knock on the competition, it's a testament to how remarkable and singular Jordan was. The myth that Michael Jordan didn't play against great competition is not just historically incorrect, it is a complete misunderstanding of the NBA landscape during the 1980s and 1990s. He played against dozens of Hall of Famers, went to war with some of the most physical and defensively gifted teams ever assembled, and directly stunted the championship hopes of some of the best players the game has seen. He did all of this under tougher rules and a more physically demanding league, and still emerged with 6 titles, 5 MVPs, 10 scoring crowns, and unmatched playoff performances. If anything, Jordan's era amplifies his greatness, proving he wasn't just the best of his time, but possibly, or in my opinion, of all time. Competition didn't define him, he defined the competition. Thank you, and if you enjoyed this, please hit us with a like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and we'll be back soon with more content.